Check 1 2. Check. Check.
All right.
1 2. Okay, I'm gonna give the old clap.
Good.
Which is the first camera? Does it not matter?
We're on camera 2, which is red right now.
Here we go.
Red means live.
Here we go.
Oh, red there. Okay. Welcome to the In the Middle podcast, a podcast where we talk about every avenue of life, because life really takes place in the middle, not the beginning, not the end. How do we navigate the middle? Welcome everybody to the next episode of In the Middle, the podcast where we talk about life, which really takes place not at the beginning, not at the end, but real life takes place in the middle. Welcome, Zoran.
Welcome. Thanks, everybody. It's back again. Feels good to be back.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
I'm excited.
Episodes have been fun. Yeah. It's really nice.
Yeah, I've been getting some interesting feedback from different people.
Okay.
So, yeah, bring it. If you've got comments, let us know the comments.
Yeah, because those
We
can
wanna be
definitely
able
turn into episodes for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, which parts of In the Middle do you want us to address and talk about? More than happy to do it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So how's it going, Zoran? Talk about you.
Hi, man. It's difficult right now. I would say I'm walking through a little bit of a hard season right now. Lots of fighting, lots of uncertainty, lots of non-clarity. I know we talked about short sprints, but it's not coming down. It feels like it just keeps on going, and
A
it's
long
not.
sprint.
Yeah, a long sprint, and yeah, I'm in a really tough place right now. I hope by the time this airs, you know, that is way better, and I've kind of hit my short sprint, but definitely wanting to figure out how to manage when the sprint keeps going. You know, the longer side of the sprint, the hard season,
Yeah.
or lesser say. But I've got to do some court things. Home is messy. I'm kind of a clean freak from time to time, so my life feels in disarray. So my home looks like that as well. Car is messed up. Emissions needs to be done. I need new tags. I'm in December right now on my tags still. Yeah, it's a lot of things that feel out of whack. Per se.
Kind of like relates to the word chaos a little bit.
Yeah.
And trying to find some order in the chaos is not always easy.
I'm struggling to find strength sometimes to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How do I keep going?
And here's the interesting thing about you, Zoran. If you were to ask the everyday person, what does it look like for Zoran's life? How does it look right now? People say, I think he's doing good.
Right.
And we've all got this ability, haven't we, to go, I'm doing okay. There's this imagery of, oh, wow, this is another bird. I'm not even into birds. But this just came to me right now, no preparation, and it's that of a duck. And so a duck, when it's on a pond and it moves across the pond, everything above the water looks calm. But its feet underneath
Below
are really going for it. They are moving quick.
Yeah.
So beneath the surface, things are going quick, but on the surface, things look kind of super calm. And you have that ability to do that, to look super calm above the surface, but beneath the surface, it's a little frantic right now.
Chaos, yeah.
It's a little chaotic. I mean, at the end of it, you do know that this season is going to come to an end, but it seems to be going longer than you wanted it to.
Yeah. And like I said, the short sprints, where I'd love to dive into that a little bit. Like how do you know when the sprint is over with? You know?
All right. And this
how do you
is
judge the amount of time?
correct. And this is a difficult one about pacing in life, because you pace according to how long the race is in a physical runner. How long the race is would determine what is your running pace going to be at. So one of my boys was a cross-country and track guy.
Okay.
Competed. Very talented in that area. They say the hardest distance for track, they say, is the 800 meters, 2 laps. They say it's really hard. In fact, a lot of people don't like it because you're not a long distance runner. It's not a long distance run, but neither is it a sprint.
Right.
I mean, the longest sprint is that 1 lap, which is still brutal, but 2 laps is it feels like they are going for it, but they're not flat out, but they want to save a bit for the end. But if you go out too slow, you're too far behind. And we used to watch him, and for one of my sons, 800 he was great at 800. And just watching it, but it really was about pacing. Because if you go out too hard, you have nothing left in the tank at the end. If you go out too slow, the guys are too far ahead and you can't catch up. And yet, it almost looks like for those 800-meter guys that they are going for it the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time. And the physical body is just like, we cannot go this fast for this amount of time. So they have to train themselves to know what it feels like to go beyond the maximum. The mind is stronger than the body. That is a fact. The mind is stronger than the body. So the mind's going to tell you, I cannot do this anymore. I'm done. I can't breathe anymore. It's too fast. It's too hard. The mind will tell you that when the body has more capacity than you believe it has. So actually, there's a stretching that you will probably look back at this season and went, I cannot believe how stretched I was.
Okay, but how do you develop that? How do you develop that pacing? Like pacing is different for everyone in life.
Yeah, it is.
If I'm standing next to like I can't. If I'm a new person that's done this 800 meter,
yep,
and there's a person that's been doing this 800 meter of life for a long time,
yep,
and I'm never, I'm not going to be on the first try. Yep. To be with that, you know what I mean? Yeah. How do I develop this pacing? How do I?
This is something I've navigated internally, and I will say this: it's called the gift of failing. I think failure is a huge gift. I think falling, what we learn from failure, is a huge gift. If we don't learn from it, then failure is just the end. But we learn more by our failures than we do by our successes. We learn more by our failures than we do by our successes because it impacts us so much and it hurts so much. We want to go, okay, I don't want that again. We learn more by our failures. When a sports team reviews a defeat, they're reviewing a defeat. What went wrong?
Right.
What went wrong? And that hopefully leads them to success in the future. The great Michael Jordan quote is a great Michael Jordan quote. I don't know the full details, but it says that, he's missed so many game-winning shots in his career.
Right.
So many times he was given the game-winning shot and missed. So many times he lost. All these different things. And he said, I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed.
Yeah.
It's the learning from the failure. So sometimes you don't know how fast you can go until you go that fast and then realize, So, but all the time you're stretching. It's known as resilience or resistance training. You've got to go through a level of resilience comes from resistance, and the more resistance that you push through, the stronger you become. Okay. It's weight training. It's weight training in the classic sense of I am waiting, waiting, waiting.
Yeah.
In the waiting, I'm gaining strength.
Okay.
I mean, I'm thinking out loud, but go on.
No. In the midst of failure, I've got a couple friends who despise failure, right? And so I know that they will push themselves beyond limits where the pacing now just becomes a drag on, it's just dragged on for forever until you're just so defeated that you can't even, now you're so deep in a hole, you can't even get yourself. But are you saying that the failure is the break to realign, to reassess, and to start again? I think in a short sprint, you know what I'm saying? Is that the failure part of this?
I think when failure happens, it's happened, and it's what you do next.
So it's
how
the
you
reassessment.
Calibrate that. It's the reassessment.
Okay.
It's the reassessment. But back to the short sprints thing. Even though you are in a season right now that is longer than you want it to be and more difficult than you want it to be, I still think you have to look at each day as a sprint. How you finish and how you start your day.
So waking up to going to sleep.
Waking up to going to sleep. This is what I've been doing all day. This is killing me. But at the end of the day, you still go to sleep. So what am I doing to shut that down? What am I doing in my heart, in my mind, in my soul to be still? What am I doing to quiet that, to gain the recovery? What is that? So there's
It's
a little
daily sprint, and I'm looking at it
constant.
as a...
So here is something, and I don't know how our listeners, I don't know how interested they are in sports. Let's take a sport that I used to play, but I really enjoy, and you see it. Tennis. A tennis player at the top level goes full on each point. And sometimes the point is done in one shot. Sometimes the rally takes a while and their heart rate gets super high, but they have to play the next point. The greats have been coached how to look at it one point at a time. And if you look at the great players, they have almost a ritual that they do before the next point starts. They reset. The point's coming. They've got a matter of seconds, but they do a reset. You'll see them. If they're serving, they'll count and they'll bounce the ball a number of times. They'll wipe a certain thing. They will do exactly the same thing physiologically before each point. And all it is, it's a recalibration of the mind to reset. They're bringing their heart rate down.
Yeah.
They're resetting and going again. That's happened. It's a new point. Let's go again. They've learned that ability to reset hundreds upon hundreds of times in any one game of tennis. I think we can learn a lot from that. How do we reset at the end of our day and the start of our day? It's a reset, because if you don't take those physiological breaks and don't even assess it and go, okay, here we go. Therefore, let me look at this biblically.
Oh, okay.
I do not think it is coincidence at all that back in the day, before there was all these performance experts out there,
Yeah.
that in the book of Lamentations, which is about tears and laments and moaning and groaning and why me and all of that, there's this beautiful verse that's really well known, and it says that God's mercy is new every morning. His mercies are new every morning. There is something new available to us in the morning if we will just pause and receive it. That newness, that fresh start, that reboot, that renewal. And this gets to me into, okay, let me just go off on one.
Okay.
So I'm not a neurological expert,
Sure.
but I read stuff. So the brain has this thing called the RAS, reticular activating system, that is inbuilt, God designed to be a filter. And we are able to filter information in and out without thinking it, but we have almost trained our brain to see it. So, for example, could be a room full of people, a mum has a newborn baby, she's put down, to sleep in the stroller at one end of the room. That baby lets out a little whimper, and across the whole room of noise, the mother can hear the whimper and can go to her child. Her reticular activating system is wired to hear her baby's cry. Likewise, we could be in a place and there could be traffic noise.
Yeah.
And we don't hear it anymore because we're focused on something else. Or we're in a quiet room and all we can hear is the clock ticking. Our reticular activating system is a natural filter to what we focus in on. So, for example, you want to go, I've said this before, you choose to buy a new car and you think, oh, this is a car I want to get and I think it's kind of original, or maybe I want to get this car. All of a sudden, in the days that follow, you see that car everywhere. All of a sudden, everybody's driving that car.
Yeah.
And you go, what is that? It's your reticular activating system, because you have put in the forefront of your mind something. So therefore, what is in the forefront of your mind?
Okay, hold on. So in this, say it one more time.
Reticular activating system. RAS.
In the short sprint of the day, in the hard season of life, where I've been looking at it, I've been looking at the hard season of when does it finally end, and that's not the short sprint. The sprint is in the new mercies in the morning
today,
and then maybe even the new mercies in the night.
Yep.
One more time, the reticular
activating system.
The
Just call it
reticular
RAS.
Yeah, RAS. how do I gain clarity in the RAS so I'm not doing listening to the clock?
Yep.
I'm not thinking about how do I slow that down to gain clarity? Because I'm even hearing you saying that the short sprint, and even in the hard seasons, there can be good days that maybe nothing happened. Right? Just today.
Right.
Nothing,
Right.
I'm not looking at it from a long distance, but
Right.
now nothing just happened today.
Right.
So I can sit in peace and be thankful for that.
Right. And refuel. So here's the thing. There's a lot we can go on with this now. And I'm still navigating this.
Sure.
I think I always will be navigating this. So when in your chaos of a season and you have to hit, okay, here's a phrase that's been in my brain. Somebody else must have thought of it because I'm not that intelligent.
Stop.
But I think it's this. We need to be able to offload something before we reload. Let's get something out before we can put better in.
Sure.
And so I think there is something about, again, the tennis player, they tried to eradicate the previous point that they won or lost, offload that, move on, reload, it's a new one. For us, the day, here's the day, how did that day go? Let me offload the frustration of it. Let me even upload the joy of it. Create space for me to receive the new. So again, biblical principle. When we hear the common phrase of Romans 12, and it goes on, do not conform any longer to the patterns, the systems of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have a reticular activating system. Therefore, what filter am I running my life through?
Yeah.
Therefore, that's why I'm a huge believer in a word for the year. That's why I'm a believer in having a theme that I want to run my life through. What is the filter that I want to view things in? If I view it in, I'm a loser, this is it, I'm a loser, I'm this, then you are going to go about the rest of your day with the posture of a loser. This isn't just like some positive mental attitude. If I take on board all that God has for me and I want to receive that truth in me, then I want to walk in that truth. That's real faith. Walking by faith is walking in what is true that God has declared. I'm going to walk in that truth, not by how I feel about it. I'm going to act in a way that my feelings will follow.
Just I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just for a person that I don't know if you've seen that book, The Secret, and that's basically good feeling. And if you say that these things are going to happen, that they're going to happen, and if what is the difference between that and biblically what you're saying? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can you explain the difference? I think that is important.
Yeah.
I think that's huge, from the good feeling of, okay, well, I'm not a loser, so, and some people have maybe, I've read the book too sometimes, but I've read The Secret, so if I say I'm going to be a millionaire in 5 years, then I'm going to be one.
Yeah, the positive mental attitude, I'm going to manifest my future.
Yes.
All these kind of things.
What's the difference?
It's down to the source. The source is not me. The source is the source provider. I've got to fix on who is the creator of heaven and earth, who is the one who literally gave everything for me. Where is it from? There are his mercies are new for me every morning. He will be the one transforming my mind. I'm asking for him to do it in me. So my posture is actually surrender. And then obedience. It isn't about me try harder, me just, I'm going to be all that I want to be. It's no, I want to receive from my creator. Well, what does he ask of me? What does he ask of me? What does he require of me? He makes it clear. Okay, first of all, start this way. Why not love God with everything? All your heart, soul, strength, and mind.
Yeah.
And then love your neighbor as yourself. Just go with that. Go with that first. So my first posture isn't me. My first posture is follow him. Therefore, when it comes to, we'll get into another episode, my 2024 word for the year, that if I declare that it isn't about me. It's not a word that means, oh, Des, absolutely unstoppable this year.
Right.
It isn't about me. It's actually me surrendering more, but in the giving and the generosity and the gratitude posture that I get, then I get to receive. And so maybe we'll pick up the actual word another day.
Yeah.
So here,
I want to know at the end of this episode.
Yeah. So here to me something. It's the condition of my soul determines the condition of my life. So what may appear to be worldly success to some people, okay. But what's the condition of your soul? What's the condition of your soul will determine, the condition of my life.
Yeah.
And that to me is what needs fueling the most. Now, I will say this, in the different areas of life, I think your daily habits have got a lot to play in this. Daily habits, physically, relationally, mentally, spiritually. What are those habits? And habits is something that you have to keep doing over and over again. And they make a huge difference.
I can definitely receive that.
Huge difference.
Because in this tough season, I think my habits have been determined by my days. My habits have been determined by what my day has sent me, instead of me being disciplined in my habits.
Okay. So what you're saying is your behaviors have been reactionary. You've reacted, not responded.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that.
If you've got good habits, you'll respond. If you've got bad habits or a lack of habits, you'll react.
Which can lead to days feeling never ending.
Yep.
And then I'm thinking about the sprint, and it's... Yeah, I can receive that well.
I've mentioned this to our people. They've heard it. My wife, she posted something on social media right at the turn of the year, and it's a quote she found, and I can't escape it. And it says, if you don't change your habits, you won't have a new year. You'll just have another year. You won't have a new year. You've got to change. You've got to change your habits. If this is not working, you've got to change your habits. You've got to, and even the body will go to plateau real quick. And so sometimes you've got to waken it up. And I think your physical body, your mind, you can just things can get stale really quick.
Yeah.
Your body gets used to it. Some people say, oh, I'm just not seeing the results anymore. And go, what are you doing? You're doing the same thing you've always done. Well, you won't see any different results. You won't see any different results. That applies in every sphere of life.
Yeah.
In your relationships, in your spiritual walk with God, in your physical body. If you don't change the way in which you are leading your habits, you are not going to change. You've got to trick it. You've got to waken it up and then form a new habit. And habits, you've got to have that first thing, which to me is desire. What do you really desire? What do you really, really desire? Because desire will lead to discipline, and desire will lead to determination, and they are critical. Because you have this desire, then you'll get the discipline, then you're going to need determination, and at some point you're going to hit a dead end. But on the other side of that dead end,
surrender,
is where you'll get destiny. And you'll get deliverance, for want of a better word. Yeah. But I've got to ask myself, but what's the desire? What do I really, really desire here in my soul? Do I really want this? And that's why you see so many people, that's a core, it's an identity question. It's an identity question that is really, really important, which is what makes it a soul question.
Almost, and I heard you say this, but like, what matters the most?
Yep.
In a hard season.
Yep. Yep.
What does that mean? What matters the most?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a prime example. Just recently, with our staff team here, we have staff meetings, and I just asked the team just about, hey, like, what in your life right now, be honest, are you worried about? Just what are you worried about? You're a human. You worry about that. And it was in the context of Jesus teaching about do not worry. Oh, okay, great. But he gave an out. He gave a, this is what you should do instead. Seek first his kingdom, his righteousness, and all these other things will be added as well. But the whole do not worry. So I just went around the room and said, hey, so what? Just be honest. What is at the forefront of your mind right now that you're just worried about? And worry is related to an unknown outcome. I don't know how this is going to go. It's an unknown outcome, so you worry about it. And to some degree, some of it's out of your control. So you worry about it. And that's just true. The whole team went around the room and shared, and some of them were really, there was honesty, vulnerability in sharing what they were worried about. Every single person's worry had something to do with people that mattered in their life. People. It was all to do with people. It was all to do with relationships, family members, relationships. Every single one of them. Not a single one of them came up with a health issue, and some of them have health issues. Not a single one came up with a financial issue, a career choice issue. Yeah. The things that they were worried about the most were people. So when you ask yourself the question, what matters most? You just have to go to that and go, okay, you hit your bed at night and you go, okay, but what do I have? What do I have? This is what I do have, regardless of the amount of money in the bank account, I still have, regardless of the way my back is feeling right now in pain, I still have. And so therefore, for who am I living for? For what am I living for? What matters most? And you can have some different answers. That's kind of okay. Like, when all is said and done, what really matters most? And we have especially in the comparison game where and social media is so not great at this, we always look at everybody's highlight reel and think it's their real life reel. Yeah. And it isn't, Nobody really posts their, But so I would just say that what matters most is really important. And your brain, the reticular activating system, is a filter, and it's able to, it's actually at work when you're asleep. What causes you to wake up is driven by your reticular activating system. In the natural, what causes it to wake up? So your brain is designed with this filter, but you can allow that filter to be transformed by the one who created it.
Yeah. Man, such just great. Des, you're just so good at kind of just making things seem simple in the midst of hard, and I'm really appreciative of that in this tough week. And if any of our viewers are having a tough week like I am, I hope this was helpful to you, because I think there's a lot of things I can take away to help my weeks or my days, feel like a reset and new mercies in those days.
And I think if I can just leave with 3 clear biblical principles, 2 that I've already said. Number 1, be reminded of the truth that God's mercies are new every morning. So how you start your day is important.
Okay.
Secondly, to live your life in a way, do not conform to the patterns of what the world is saying to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Allow the creator of your mind to renew it, and then you will know what God's will is. But that comes to me off the back of a beautiful psalm that says, be still and know that I am God. God says, be still and know that I am God. It doesn't say in the go, know that I am God. Be still. At the end of the day, at the start of the day, you do have moments to be still in the chaos. And offload to him, upload to him, so that he can reload you with the fuel needed for the next day.
Man, I really want to know the word of your year, but I want to wait. I think we should wait till next episode.
Yeah,
next
some
week.
People already know it, but they're going to get a whole new.
Yeah, I really can't wait. So join us next week for that word of the year, and just diving into that.
Yeah. Hey everybody, like, subscribe, share this with anybody else in any walk of life. We're deliberately talking about this, that people who are followers of Jesus or not followers of Jesus can engage with it fully.
Yeah.
Reach out to us through social media, ask us questions. We want to be able to be a help and a tool to every single one of us doing life in the middle.
Yep. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Later.